All right, Blue-Black Pirates. This is a deck I played a bunch of last season. It's actually a deck that I took to the SCG Invitational in December. I do think this deck got a little bit worse with guilds, or with whatever Ravnica Allegiance the last set, primarily because one of this deck's better matchups was green-black mid-range, and the fact that green-black mid-range gets to play Hydroid Crisis now makes it a little bit more challenging for you. I've compensated for Hydroid Crisis being annoying a little bit by moving all 4 Hostage Shakers to the main deck, but I do think Sultai is harder for this deck than green-black was in previous seasons. Yep, just loading up into Arena for the day. I'm gonna run a little bit long today to make up for ending early yesterday, so I'm planning to do 5 or maybe even 6 standard decks today as opposed to the normal 4 that I do. Yeah, I played one game with Dimir Climb and then I ended the stream early. Oh, magic. Sounds good, Paper. Thanks for the support. Alright, let's find out what they're playing, and then we'll go on to the next game. Good enough. Alright, on to the next one. Yeah, the ladder's just been mono reclamation decks recently. Yeah, I think this deck's probably got an okay reclamation matchup, I agree. Which probably makes it an okay thing to ladder with today, since there's been so much of that archetype. Especially because we're a go wide strategy that, aside from this, doesn't care about Fiery Cannonade. I need one more trim here. I don't want to cut another creature. Generally speaking, 20 creatures is the floor. I could cut a land. Yeah, I'm going to be greedy and cut a land. I cut all the Hostage Takers. No, I think this deck has good tools to play against Reclamation Best Spirit, so I'm going to play the matches. And you know, honestly, if you're not enjoying playing against Wilderness Reclamation, just stop playing on the ladder. Just like the constructed events are like more than fine for generating interesting games of Magic, and there's a lot less Reclamation in them. And you only have to go, if you go better than 2-2, you make a profit. If you go 2-2, you break even and get some free cards. Perfect. Alright, what you got? Well, the rest of their hand is not good. Stop it. Yeah, I agree, Dim. I've liked that build a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and just play Thief of Sanity and Deadeye Tracker here. Again, my opponent's only sweeper effect is, well, that changes it. Now we'll do that. My opponent's only sweeper effect deals damage to non-pirates, so... Yeah, just enjoying the Jeskai deck is a big reason why I decided to register it tomorrow. It's just fun to play. Maybe I should put Obsession on Deadeye Tracker there. It's very possible. I don't have any actual disruption in my hand at the moment. Although it's looking like we're about to chew them up and spit them out here. They had a freebie game 1. We're getting a free-ish game 2 here. Yeah, I think I should have done this pre-combat. Hydrate Crisis is annoying, but not the end of the world. Hopefully they block Kitesail Freebooter here and Direfleet Poisoner blows them out. Two of your finest cards, please. Poisoner was lethal. Yes, it was. Good call. It's been a hot second here. This gives +1/+1 to an attacking pirate. Stop it. That was a bold shove. Start the day off with a mulligan to a missed lethal. Hey, Gregor, thanks for the 12 months. Have a sword to go with your shield. Thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate the support. Do I want the Price of Fame in this matchup? They are a Niv Mizzet deck. I have Thought Erasure. I'm just going to go ahead and click submit, I think. I don't think I want Hostage Shaker for their few Hydrate Crisis. I think I have counter spells and discard spells to fight through those. I think I actually want to play the Guildgate on one. I think my sequencing here... that changes it a little, maybe. Yeah, I think drawing the third untapped line change. I was going to say I was going to do this, into this, plus this, but... now we can pivot. What are your view on the current state of Nexus deck? I've been playing in Civic decks lately, but it feels significantly weaker than a month ago. Perhaps it's just a bad string of games. I mean, I don't think those decks have ever been too good on a pure power level perspective. I think anybody that's talking about like those decks being obnoxious is that they're obnoxious, not that they're too strong, if that makes sense. Just the emotional feelings that the Nexus decks elicit out of the people playing against them are truly negative, is basically what it comes down to. What is in their hand? Just a bunch of creatures. Guildgate gonna potentially come here and bite us. Would really like to draw an untapped land here. Perfect. So I can do the Kitesail Freebooter letting me sculpt how I want to sequence my removal here. Sounds fantastic. I expect we'll see a 3/3 Hydroid Crisis, to which we will. Actually, do I even look out to Dispersal it? I have the Dire Fleet Poisoner. Yeah, I probably want to Dispersal it just to keep the pressure going. Well, that was not particularly close. Maybe we'll just get fed a bunch of Reclamation decks again today, and this deck will just chew it up and spit them out. Last season, the Pirates deck felt like it was very strong against these combo decks. This hand's not amazing, but it's fine. Alright, submit Guildgate. That either means Gates or a Reclamation deck. Looking like it could be Gates. Alright, I'm gonna play the Kitesail here. Kinda figure out what's up. That's 2 sweepers. Alright, yikes. They don't have white mana currently. Currently lack white mana. Yep, yeah, tempo decks, historically speaking, from a Magic Theory perspective, tempo decks tend to be good against, combo decks. They draw a Guild Summit here. I think I'm supposed to play the Thief and just try and get it going here. Just like hope to fade. Someone wanted to know if/when you choose to play the White Splash for Deputy. I don't know, we did that once and it was like, okay. I don't know that I'm necessarily sold on it being necessary. I think the fact that they hit white so soon probably means we're dead. Because, like, the Clarion unlocks their next one here. I mean, we don't have that many cheap counters. We have, like, a couple copies of Negate, and that's it. I don't know that I agree with the assessment that we should be favored here. I think a big part of why we're favored against the Nexus decks, they don't really have sweepers. I think the people saying we're favored here are overestimating our position. I'm gonna tuck that in here. We have Hostage Shaker or Thief to buffer against the Sweeper. Yeah, I guess I could have done that last turn, huh? I don't know. Then they're just like getting a Sweeper back, so they sweep and then sweep again. I don't know. We're kind of just treading water here, hoping they don't draw anything. But like with Guild Summit in play, they're incredibly unlikely to just brick. I know. I think the people in chat that are suggesting we're favored, I think you're heavily overestimating the power of our clock, how efficiently we put pressure into play. I think you are heavily overestimating that. I think Hostage Taker is important here. Dire Fleet, like, eats goats, I guess, but, like, Hostage Taker also eats goats. Do I even want Disdainful Stroke in this matchup? It counters some of their over-the-top plays, but, like, those aren't necessarily the plays that I care about, right? The Guildgate is there because of statistics. I would encourage you to familiarize yourself with this article about mana math here. This seems fine. You wanted a third negate in the board. I don't know. With Sultai having Hostage Taker, I think Disdainful Stroke's pretty. That's a lot of negates. I think I'm going to play the Fathom Fleet Captain here. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and just Siren Stormtamer on 3 and then attack with the Captain and activate it. And just like start pumping out 2/2s, just like Demand a Sweeper ASAP. And then if they have the first sweeper, a lot of times you can position yourself to beat one sweeper, but if 2 resolve, we're probably just dead to rights. I think if you've gotten to the point, I think playing extra negates and not playing Lookouts Dispersals is a fundamental misunderstanding of how this matchup's supposed to play out, Greg. I think if you've gotten to the point in the game where your Lookouts Dispersal, your counter unless they pay 4 no longer has text, I think you've lost that game and there's no coming back. I think that's playing too much to try and win a game that you're just like really far out of. I know at one point we played Vile Offering over Moment to deal with Lyra and Niv as one felt better than the other. Well, Lyra and Niv aren't super popular cards anymore. Niv especially. So I have 7 power in play. This would be 8, 9, 10. I'm not going to play the Poisoner out. I think I'm going to... Oh, well, that's great. I think I'm going to start with that. I might Curious Obsession here. Oh, well, their hand's really bad, huh? Things that don't interact with our board. These. You can blank your Dispersal as early as turn 4 or 5. I don't think that's true, Greg. And again, I think in those games, you're probably losing anyways, and you could just Dispersal their ramp if you feel like it's genuinely not going to be live anymore. Alright, so you're dead on board. Got it. If they fumble or don't have double sweeper, we're usually pretty well off here. Fathom Fleet Captain punching the clock and going to work there. Really showing us what he's worth. Stands fine. Goes Kitesail into Thief, hopefully. And then gets to hold up Negate to protect the whole thing. It's Raining Men is the song I think of while playing that card. That's funny. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Alright, the fact that they didn't put a gate into play there means they don't have one. So I need to fade a sweeper. And if we fade a sweeper, we should be in an okay spot here. We're gonna get Thief going. I think that's just about how it goes. You have these windows where like you have to fade the sweeper and then you don't and you lose. Especially without drawing a land there. I mean, that's not really putting my foot in my mouth. That's just like stating a fact, right? Like, we fade the sweeper that turn. We're in a good spot. We don't, we lose the game, basically. That's how Magic works a lot of the time. You're like, all right, I put myself in a position where I'm ahead if this happens, and I lose the game if it doesn't happen, if the other thing happens. It's just like, well, that's just how it goes. So basically, what you're doing there, Greg, is you're saying you want to make changes to how you're sideboarding. You want to make changes to how you're sideboarding and playing the game based on your opponent having their absolute best draw on the play. Magic's a game where sometimes you just die. Sometimes everything goes perfectly for them, and it's just not going to work out for you. And making changes to how you play the game based on playing around your opponent's best possible draws is going to lose you way more games than playing to the average case scenario. I think that's a mistake people make a lot of the time. Like, you can't have plans for things, just everything going right for them and everything going wrong for you. Sometimes you're just going to die. That's how Magic works. Sometimes you make all the right decisions and you still lose, and like making changes to your deck that hurt in other places at the cost of like trying to make this thing winnable in a matchup that's a fringe matchup that's just like not gonna happen that often anyways is silly. Looking for another land here. It's possible I should take Hydroid Crisis, but that one's pretty far off. Hopefully we're able to get Thief down and get a couple of hits in with that. Yeah, sometimes they high roll, right? They hit the blue source right away, so I kind of think we're in an unwinnable position from this point. My opponent's going to gain 6 and have a lot of pressure in play, and then meaningfully, my opponent's going to... Well, if I take the Branch Walker, they just get to find it back. So, like, taking a creature when they have Find Finality in their hand is a lot like taking an instant or sorcery when your opponent has a Snapcaster Mage. It's like, well, this doesn't really work out. It doesn't work out in our favor. And like now I'm losing on 2 axes, right? Like they can block my flying creature in the air here and they're racing me on the ground. Cast down's decent here. I don't think Deadeye Tracker is good enough. What do I want to cut here? There is no shiny Thief of Sanity, unfortunately. I think it's just Fathom Fleet Captain. They tend to gum the ground up, so he can't really attack in. This card's good against, like, control and, like, Drakes. And I think Dive Down's valuable. We're often on, like, the Protect the Queen plan in this matchup. And, like, Dive Down insulates a lot of our threats through Finality. It keeps Hostage Taker off our back for a really efficient mana exchange. I could see Stroke coming in. Like, maybe Stroke's better than Dive Down. They do similar things, but Stroke, like, tags a Hydroid Crisis that's going to hit the field. Apparently, deck lists aren't due for Apparently the fandom people communicated the wrong deck list deadline time, so I guess we could play some more Jeskai Control today. Because the deck lists aren't due until midnight. Had to get my resub in for this comment. Sometimes I just turn 3-card turf for Uluwagyu. Yep. Sometimes you just die. That's just how it goes. If you want to play a game where you just, like, don't have a chance to just die, gotta pick one with less variance than Magic. Alright. Future Jeff is going to have a lot of problems. So hopefully present turn Jeff hasn't screwed future Jeff out of this game. Future Jeff's got some issues up here. And present Jeff is hoping to kill the opponent before future Jeff has to deal with these problems. Pokemon TCG, in my experience playing it, is actually pretty incredibly low variance. Pokemon TCG tends to have a very high volume of card selection, which reduces the variance in the game by a pretty significant margin. All right, things aren't looking good for future Jeff. Alright, so we get to stop this. And then next turn, I get to hostage taker their Hydroid Krasis. We might get fully under them here. Perfect. Alright, and I actually made a pretty big mistake here. I should have Thought Erasure before I hit them so I could surveil. Because I could have drawn this, right? So we need to fade a removal spell this turn. If we fade removal this turn, we're in a good spot. If we don't fade removal, it's because we punted. So we could have this Lookout Dispersal. Deal. So we're winning this race here. Oh, they drew Land War Elves. That's fine. So I get to hostage taker this Hydroid Krasis, hit them for 3, and then I get to Lookout Dispersal their next Hydroid Krasis and hit them for a bunch again and Hydroid Krasis myself next turn. And again, this is kind of showing what I talked about in the opener for this deck, which is this matchup is much harder than Green-Black Forest because they have these giant squids that are good against our counterspells and just block our threats. The blocking of our threats is a big deal. Yeah, I agree, Punchworthy. Squadron Crab definitely felt like it was good in the opponent's archetype. Alright, so we get to hit them down to 4 next turn. And draw a card. And then we'll play this out as a 5-5. And I want to make sure I play this as a 5-5 as opposed to a 4-4, because I want it to survive finality. When it rains, it pours, chat. Hopefully, I think we're gonna be okay here. They need, like, double spot removal this turn. Alright. Still dead. Still dead on board. Did they forget Kitesail Freebooter can attack? Alright. Excellent. I don't know. I think they were kind of dead regardless of what they did there. But obviously it would have been better to, like, kill the thing that didn't leave them dead on board. Oh, I think I'm happy with what I did here. I think I prefer Dive Down to Disdainful Stroke in general. Yeah, Gates is super reasonable. The build we played last time that had the Shivan Fires in it felt more than fine. All roads led to roads. Earning foil. So at the end of this season, if you are in plat, you get a promo of Vraska's Contempt and a promo something else. And if you're in gold, you just get the promo something else. So if you like the cosmetics, you want to make sure you get to plat 4 each season. Wizard's Lightning, okay. Oh, this hand's so good if it just, like, had a 1 or 2 mana play. I don't think I can afford to keep this, though, huh? Yeah, screw it. We're on the draw. Let's hit a thing. Shellers, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Any deck recommendations for getting to plat? Anything that's good. If you're worried about time efficiency, white aggro or red aggro are both great choices. Alright, I mean, their hand is not fantastic here. I'm going to take the Contempt rather than the Chupacabra because the Contempt allows for a little bit more flexible timing. So the Chupacabra is a little bit more predictable about when I need to interact with it. And thanks to the 11 months, I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. And my website's a great resource of decks that are fairly reasonable if you're looking for things that are kind of interesting. Which one is more favored against red-green? Angels is probably better against red-green aggro. Yeah, it might have been wrong to ditch that Dispersal I ditched earlier. Or the Drowned Catacomb. I'm actually just letting this happen, right? Yeah, I think I'd rather hold up Lookout's Dispersal. This timing is bad, obviously. Seems a lot better and more consistent. Why, KMBet? Can you explain why you think it's better? What about it is better? Not being able to high roll people seems much worse. Yeah, bidding that Drowned Catacomb is going to be the death of me. Opponent's flooded really bad, but we've stumbled super hard. Blue source. Untapped blue source. Perfect. So they have Chupacabra here, but this gets the Brontodon off my back for a turn, because when they Chupacabra this to get the Brontodon back, they're not, it's gonna have Summoning Sickness, which is ideal. So the Pirate is being eaten for dinner, but that's fine. And then I think we're solidly on the hope they don't have removal plan here. Yep. Yeah, my decision to bin the Drowned Catacomb earlier in that game, I don't know that if it was wrong at that current point in time, but, like, not hitting another blue source definitely hurt us there. Like, at the time when I binned the Drowned Catacomb, I didn't really have any threats, and I really needed to draw threats, and then we only drew threats that needed blue mana, so I wasn't able to deploy a threat and protect it at the same time. So even though my opponent was flooding out, I just wasn't able to leverage the fact that I had more spells than them successfully. Yeah, so it sounds like it's lower to the ground. I wonder what matchups that changes, KMBet. Because I don't know, me personally, like, I'm much more scared being on the other side of the table, like when they have risk factor versus when they have, say, Experimental Frenzy. I feel much safer. Like, Experimental Frenzy is a scary card, and when they have risk factor, just like, oh, thank goodness they have risk factor. Yeah, I'm playing in the Fandoms tournament tomorrow. Any of the kind of streamer showcase tournaments that have, like, objective metrics for getting people into, I'll likely be involved in. Oh, that's a heck of a hand, opponent. That was an excellent draw. Means I can slide on this Curious Obsession and start taking him to Pound Town. What happened yesterday? We just played a bunch of really terrible games of Magic, so I decided rather than playing more potentially terrible games of Magic, I wanted to take the day off and go outside. It was like 70-degree weather, so I took the kids to the park. Standard's kind of at a low point, so if I'm not feeling it, I decided to just, like, take off early. Between now and when War of the Spark releases are good times for me to take a little bit extra time off. Because when War drops, we'll probably go back to doing 50 or 60-hour weeks for a little bit. Stop it. Alright, so I'm going to play Kitesail Freebooter pre-combat here. So that way I can know if I want to do this. And they have basically nothing. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pay for the Fathom Fleet Captain here. Get that pressure into play. Am I getting hit by the big snowstorm that's coming? There's a snowstorm coming? I don't think so. I don't think we have snow in our forecast. If they hit blink of an eye here, we could be in trouble. But otherwise, we're closing very quickly. They're at 5. I don't think Dire Fleet was anywhere near lethal. Hopefully we get another combat step. Hopefully we get another turn. Getting another turn, another combat step. Neither of these things are guaranteed. Also, this token doesn't come into play attacking. It's just there. Yay! We did it! Oh. Opponent kept kind of a sketchy hand there. I don't even think I bring in Spyglass in this deck. This card's mostly here for naming Teferi against Esper. I'm going to bring in Deadeye Tracker over Direfleet Poisoner just to drag the curve down. Having a Pirate on one is pretty good. I don't care who wins as long as the Nexus decks lose. Oh, that's great. Some good honesty. I like people who are honest. In general, this archetype tends to be good against Wilderness Reclamation decks, yeah. You got discard, counterspells, and pressure. That's a good draw. Minnesota and Wisconsin. Yeah, I was just saying, I thought the weather here was supposed to get cold again. I didn't think it was supposed to get snowy. And by cold, like 50s, back to the 50s. We had 70-degree weather the last 2 days, though, and it was glorious. Would you look at that? What you got? What you got? What you got? What you got? If they have multiple reclamations here, this feels a little bit bad. Chemister's Insight. I think I actually take the Opt here since they didn't cast it. And they have double Insight. Taking the Opt here gives them the lowest possible chance to put a Reclamation into play next turn. They kept the card on top, so I assume this is a Reclamation. Which, this could actually be a route for them to kill us. Crushing Canopy, stop it. Ain't nobody got time for your Crushing Canopies, opponent. Yeah, this is fake spring that we're in right now, right? The JK LOL spring. Alright, this game should be pretty done at this point with the Disdainful Stroke in our hand. Add a little bit of pressure to play, put him on a 2-turn clock. There could be merit to countering this just because Disdainful Stroke doesn't counter the fog. Yeah, I agree, Greg. Go wistfully into the night. Your kind are not welcome here. Turns out you can draw mono lands when you're drawing 3 cards per turn, because you still have a couple of spells in the middle for things to shake out okay. Moving on up. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Please keep feeding me Wilderness Reclamation players. Beating a Nexus deck feels like exercising a demon. I'm gonna bottom that. I actually want a 1 or a 2 mana creature here, ideally, I think. Thought Erasure, Kitesail Freebooter, something along those lines. Would like some kind of disruption to precede this Thief of Sanity, ideally. I don't think our Esper matchup's unwinnable, but it's definitely not always great. So we really want to draw Curious Obsession next turn so we can slide it on here and then protect it with Dive Down. Hostage Taker in the opener here feels real bad. It's a card that doesn't have text in this matchup, basically, especially game 1. Post-board, it can occasionally do something, but I played the Thief of Sanity out here, just hoping to fade removal for a turn. With cards like Thought Erasure, it's not necessarily safe in our hand, and if I don't deploy it now and my opponent plays a 3rd land and passes, they could absorb it the following turn. So I think the best chance for this to start getting in is to hope that we get to untap with it here. Obviously, they have a lot of 2-mana disruption and things like Cry of the Canarium and Mortify, but okay. Yep, I mean, there goes the Dive Down. But if this Thief of Sanity hits them and, like, finds an Absorb, we're likely off to the races. So, a little bit of risk associated with this play, but it is incredibly high upside if it gets to start getting in here. So suddenly we've gone from a position of kind of feeling medium to Thief of Sanity getting in. Well, that's not exactly what we're looking for there. I wonder if I'm supposed to Hostage Taker my Thief to prevent from Kaya's Wrath. They go White Source Kaya's Wrath here, which is like super sad. Unfortunately, didn't find one of their 4 or 5 main deck counterspells. I think there's a good chance we get, like, Contempted here. Here, and I'll upkeep Contempt. This is good sequencing on the opponent's part. Actually, it's medium sequencing because they know our last card's Hostage Taker, so just, like, wasting time. Alright, one of your finest counter spells, please. One counter spell, please. Alright. Oh, I could have one of their counters. Good catch, good catch. Good call. Gazni, thank you for the 12 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Alec, thank you for the 13 months. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. And TGN Dragon, thanks for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting my content this month with that. Keeping me employed here. Welcome. Alright, what you working with over there? Survey says... Sweet trumpet. Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a couple of decks today. So we'll see how it feels. Those are both just like good magic cards, so it makes sense. Drake Money. Howdy, howdy. So, I need to cut one more card here. Garbage time. You don't have to go home, but you can't play here. Do 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 do. Wonder if I have too much disruption at this point. Maybe I trim a Lookout's Dispersal. Like I already trimmed a Dive Down. I'm bringing in 4 more pieces of 2-mana counter magic. I might trim a Dispersal. I cut 1 Direfleet Poisoner, but again, my kind of golden rule for sideboard, you see me click into here. I like to make sure I never go below 20 creatures. You need threat density. Otherwise, they just like don't have enough stuff. Just too much interaction, not enough stuff. You don't have the ability to actually kill people. Sure, seems sweet. I started saving wild cards and gold for war, but then just got control look for fun. So yeah, my savings for war are now smaller. That's really funny. I think I'm going to hold this up to explore here. Extreme Gamer, thank you for the 12 months of support. I really appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. You have a sword to go with your shield. Quintez, thank you for the 15 months of support there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, I actually ended up just going to the park with the kids yesterday. It was a good afternoon. So a little bit of a gamble here. They shocked in their land, which could mean Vraska's Contempt, but it could also just mean Chemistry Insight. I'm going to sacrifice this, and I'm going to hope to draw a blue source. If we hit a blue source here, we should be in an incredible spot. If we brick and they hit a land, we're going to die. Welcome magic. So that was step one was we brick. All right. We have a chance to hit a land and still be in this. Wow, I am really surprised they didn't just play Teferi while we were tapped out. Yeah, I've definitely shocked in lands to bluff before. One of the things I think people don't consider enough of the time when it comes to shocking in lands to bluff, and I think enough people don't consider the fact that what position is their opponent in? Like, a bluff only works if your opponent is in a position where they can't call. So, like, if they just, like, drew the 7th land and have absorb. They totally drew the 7th land and have absorbed, don't they? Wow, that's so brutal. Like, if your opponent is in a position where, like, they have to call your bluff, like, bluffing is pointless if it costs you a resource. So it's just like, was your bluff worthwhile if they're in a position where they have to call anyways? And I'm like, we're kind of in a game here, right? Like, I found a threat and I have this negate. So, like, because I have the threat now, like, they need to have 2 answers in a row, basically. They need to have an answer plus an answer to this. And if they don't, this closes the game out very quickly. I think this is a blank. I think I need to counter the search for Azcanta. Like, the search for Azcanta just provides an endless stream of disruption for them. So I think it's right to do that there. All right. Speaking of running hot. Speaking of running hot. Was that a good 1, 2, 3? What do we think? What does the jury think on that one? 1, 2, 3. It's just elementary. What could it be? That doesn't do anything, right? It doesn't do anything. They down tick, they're still dead because I have Siren Stormtamer.
This isn't a fight you can hurry.
Oh, jeez. Good lord, that's punishing. Yikes. Alright, I think we're dead. Yeah, drawing Thief of Sanity was the one thing that had us covered. Because I was thinking even if they draw Hostage Taker, we get to sacrifice this and keep our 2/2. That was the one card that this doesn't cover that they could draw with Teferi. Yeah, I think we're dead. Teferi's gonna tuck this in, and then they still have a Teferi in play. Nah, I think that's just a mistake on my part, Punchworthy. I think I should have just negated the Teferi. Thief of Sanity wasn't one of the cards that, like, went through my combination of things they could have had there. Yeah, that should be the game. Yeah, if I stop and if I hit Thief of Sanity as a card that I should be thinking about, then the correct answer is to negate the Teferi. Which is a card that they're, like, definitely boarding in against us, right? I don't know, games like that are good learning experiences. Like, there's two different ways that you can approach a game like that, right? Like, you can sit there and be like, my opponent's so lucky they drew the one card that beats me. Or you can, like, reflect on the fact that, like, we had a decision to make, and I didn't think about the card they could have drawn to beat me, so I gave them an out, and then they hit the out. I couldn't kill the Teferi, Pokemon nerd. The Teferi was at 4, and I had 3 power. So, yes, always kill the Teferi unless you're literally killing them. I wasn't about to do that either, so I'm not really sure what your point is. I feel like I'm missing something. No, that's just not an apt comparison in the slightest. And this is just like an A+ example of why Magic's a complicated game, and people are taking this thing that I said is almost always correct, and then this is a good example of thinking critically about it and just being different. Like, generally speaking, people love mental shortcuts like that. It's like they want to pile on and say, always do this thing. So again, like, the Thief of Sanity that's a good example there. People are talking about, you talked about always killing the Teferi unless you're about to win. I was going to kill them the next turn, so I wanted to hold the negate in case they had something to stop me from killing them. I'm gonna go ahead and just concede this match and go on to the next one. This matchup's rancid. It was bad before they had Type Taker, and with the inclusion of Type Taker, you're just never winning. I mean, I don't think we have a chance to win there, Punchworthy. I think we're just, like, dead to rights, so the hope is that, like, they stumble and die, and then, like, Obsession gets online. I think none of our decisions mattered in that game, and we were just gonna lose. This hand would love some untapped lands, but other than that, the spells are really good. No, Magic only rotates once per year, and it's in the fall. Struminator, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Magic is where the life points are made up and the decisions don't matter. There are a lot of games where the decisions don't matter. That's definitely true. All right, sweet. One more reclamation deck to eat up to finish the day off. Spell Pierce, sure. What'sinstandard.com lists all the rotation information for Magic the Gathering. I think I'm actually going to take their Chemist's Insight here. Like, the Spell Pierce is, like, a little annoying, but, like, exiling the Insight gives them, like, a whole lot of nothing to do here. We've been beating every Reclamation deck we play against, and we've lost to literally everything else. So, mixed bag. We had a close set against Esper. Made a couple of mistakes to lose. I guess I just hit them for 5 here, and then We just play another Poisoner next turn, I guess. Or this. I don't think it really matters. Screw beats Flood a lot of the time, yep. They kept a card on top there. They draw Reclamation. Chemist's Insight maybe, or a Fog perhaps. This is 8 damage I'm attacking for here. Do I try and kill them with Poisoner here? It feels like they have a Bounce Spell or a Fog, so I'm just going to try and pass the damage. Yep. They have 5 cards in their bin. They're going to get to Nexus of Fate, take a turn here, though. So you're dead? Because there's a Siren Stormtamer in play. Yeah, this card right here is the answer to your Unclaimed Territory versus Guildgate question, Brutzy. We have too many blue and black cards that like need actual blue and black mana that aren't just pirates. So when this card got added to the deck, Unclaimed Territory basically became not a card you can play. I've been cutting a land in this matchup and it's felt fine, so I think I'm gonna keep doing that. Probably be the last one with the Pirates. We'll move on to Red White True Firestar, which I think that deck's probably going to be the inverse of this one. I think it's probably going to get dumpstered by Reclamation and then be okay against most other things. Straight Red White doesn't have a lot of good tools for interacting with that. Get that. Never didn't have it. To set a bar low, want to be Kurt, we didn't miss on double incubation in a row today in our deck full of creatures. Running better than missing the 3.8%er into the 1.9%er. Oh, that's a Kroll Harpooner. Super punished for not playing Thought Erasure. Oh, that's rough. It's the first time we've run into this card today. It wasn't on my radar. I don't think I'm looking for a 4th land at this point. I guess the 4th land would let me Dire Fleet Poisoner plus Lookout's Dispersal next turn, which could be useful. Maybe I am supposed to keep that. This thing just has so many points of power. Yeah, we're pretty done here. It'd have been a little bit of a different game if I'd have led on the Thought Erasure to not lose the Kitesail Freebooter. But without that, we're just getting toasted. It'll be a card to think about moving forward. It can impact the sequencing of our disruption, or how we want to hold up mana with dive downs and things like that. Alright. Super dead to turn 2 Curl Harpooner, but this is where we're at. Blink's also not great for us, but I'm gonna put my eggs in this basket and hope it's good enough. Alright, scale of 1 to dead. Not dead! Ugh, fist bump. Alright, let's do it. Let's do it. So you're saying there's a chance. That's all I need, chat. Take a chance on me. Do 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 do. Man, part of me wants to take the Growth Spiral just because that gives them an extra look at the removal spell, but with double Nexus, I think I just need to take the Reclamation here. I don't know, it's definitely close. Alright, excellent. Excellent. End on a Curious Obsession high note. We batted about 500 there. I think we beat 3 or 4 Nexus decks and we lost to 3 or 4 non-Nexus decks. So if you're expecting nothing but Wilderness Reclamation, this seems like a reasonable choice, but I think this deck probably struggles too much against the other various things in the format. That's probably a little bit not great. Sometimes we just have draws like Mono Blue, exactly.